I see a few of you on here. All right, let's see. Give me a second while I get used to this, because I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit different than how I don't want that. No, nope, no green screen. Okay. All right, let's go back. No, I don't want chat hidden. I want chat. I want to see it. All right, cool. Can you guys see me pretty well, or is it kind of still dark? All right, cool. Just want to make sure. I'm gonna wait a moment or two just to see who hops on. I see about 4 people on here. I just want to give it a couple minutes because I don't know how long the posts are taking in Facebook, but I feel like they're lagging on there. Awesome. Glad you can hear me. I'm like, check, check, 1, 2. uh, this is all new to me because I've not used YouTube just by itself. There's like a platform, a third party platform called StreamYard. And StreamYard, you can literally stream live from multiple platforms at the same time. So, like, I can basically stream on Facebook, YouTube, I think Instagram, and a couple other places all at the same time. And that video is playing, just me playing on all those platforms. So, all right. Thank you for letting me know it's a bit dark. I'm used to TikTok. So TikTok, I'm like always, I know how things go. So give me a second. I'm going to pull my light over a little bit more so that you guys can see me. So give me a second. All right. Can you see me now? Am I visible? Hello. Hi, Mela. Totally do whatever you need to do, and we can watch and chat and have all the funness go on as planned. It looks like I've got several of you guys in here. I'm sure more will join along the way. Like I said, first episode on YouTube, so bear with me if there's a little, couple hiccups or anything. I'm trying my best not to have those, but it happens. So this episode, I want to talk about deities. I apologize, whoever mentioned it. I want your guys' feedback on what you want to talk about on Witchy Wednesdays. And so deities was brought up, and I feel like that's a great place to start. Is you know working with deities in the craft, and there's tons of deities, as we know, in all different cultures. And I feel like people get weirded out about, like, when I show them my setup and I have Ganesh on my altar as well as Hecate. They're like, "Do they fight?" I'm like, "No." Like, I tell them, like, "No fighting. You guys are all working with me. Like, no, we're gonna be chill. No fighting. I only got this little bit of space. I will help you if you help me. Like, it's cool." Let me get back to the chat, because the whole purpose is like banter back and forth with you guys. So if you have any questions on deities, feel free to comment. Like, this is the whole, it's a chat. It's like, conversing back and forth, but live, so that you guys are getting your answers or your questions answered, and, information. Like that's the whole purpose of Witchy Wednesday chat. Let's see. So does anybody have any questions about deities? I was just gonna say I feel like you did, Mela. And you have a couple of different cultures as well. Because your husband also uses Ganesh. And then you have oh my god, I'm blanking on names. Madam yeah, I'm gonna we're gonna use my phone real quick because Laura's having a forgetful moment. um that's it. That's Mama Brigitte. That's who I was trying to think. I was like, Madame Brigitte, Mama Brigitte. All right. Oh, and you also have Lilith. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then you also have Mama Brigitte's husband, which he okay. So actually, oh, dang, you got Saraswati up in that too? Okay. Okay. Madame Brigitte and the Baron. So some people, yep, I was just gonna say, some people. So there's a little bit of confusion on the Baron and Papa Legba. So a lot of the times people think Papa Legba and the Baron are the same person. They are completely different. So Papa Legba is actually the Crossroads um, deity and connected with voodoo. So he is also a protector of children, but you would be the one like working with him to, yeah, I was just gonna say because Baron does not do any crossroad stuff. He's with his wife and does more of like spirit, like connecting with spirits and stuff. So Papa Legba is somebody you would go to the crossroads, and if there's something you really, really need, especially when it comes to children, or he'll even help if it's like in an abuse situation. He's very, very well known. Um, yeah, in a sense, he is. He is in a sense a male version of that, which is funny that you mentioned that. I'm gonna kind of go around about in a way of discussing some deities that are very similar in different cultures. Um, so he will help with abuse, especially children. So taking things and offering things to him at the crossroads. Now there's several types of crossroads. You have the four-way crossroads. You have the T crossroads, which everybody has a T crossroad. Think of the end of your driveway. So your driveway, meeting the street, that's a T crossroads. Then there's the, like multiple, going sometimes there's like three-way, like almost through I've seen some really crazy like ways get I've even seen a five, which would be almost like a star crossroads. So it really just depends on where or who you wanna go. I know I would normally say Papa Legba would be like the four. I would go to that type of crossroads. Um, oh, what book was it? So with that, um, yeah, Papa Legba would be the person you would want to work with on abuse or just things that you need really badly because he don't fuck around. And then you got Madame Brigitte and the Baron. They work with a lot of spirits. So if you're they're also kind of they're a spicy. I'm gonna say spicy. um, and they know that in a loving way because I'm gonna give that to them in a loving way. That they will also help in things to just be mindful on working with them. Like don't piss them off. Actually, never piss any of your deities off. But there are certain ones you don't want to piss off more than the others, because they will wreak havoc on your life. So when Mela just brought up that Baron is like Hecate in a male form, so I was going to talk about this, which is funny that she brought it up. So Hecate is the Greek goddess of witchcraft, right? The triple goddess of the moon, triple moon. She can be shown in several forms: maiden, mother, or crone. Um, a lot of us that do work with Hecate, we like to go through our phases of life where we start off as the maiden, and then we could become the mother, and then eventually we hit our crone phase. A lot of us, I feel, are in our crone phase. I feel like I'm in like the between of mother and crone, with that I guess balance of those two. So she'll show herself to you in one of those ways as well. But in Egypt, there is also a goddess called Heka. Hmm. So we know Egypt was before, the Greek times, around those. So for them to have a deity, it also has a very similar name and very similar backgrounds, and um, what they offer is just funny. And then like think about it in the sense too of like if we go into um, the Roman and the Greeks, right? So, Mercury, which also is a planet, communication. We have Hermes in Greek, okay? Venus in Roman and Aphrodite in Greek. So several of those are going to be the same. Same with like Norse, right? So you got Zeus, right? In Greek mythology, you would have Odin in the Norse. Um, Pluto would be um, Hades. So you got a lot of these deities or guardians, whatever you want to call them, and they all do very similar things, but they go by a different name in different cultures. So it's just kind of unique to kind of dig into that and like find out like who it is that you're connecting with and what culture you might be connecting with. Um, I don't feel like there's issues with like going to different cultures in my personal aspect, but I also am very respectful on that thing, just because I do have like my dad being Romanian, and the gypsy blood like line actually started in India. So like the you know, people from India that came over as travelers and settled in the area that was where my ancestors are from. I work with Ganesha. Ganesha is a Hindu god. And I don't feel like that's a huge issue, but I kind of just, like I said, just be respectful. I know that there's some different witchcraft practices that you have to be initiated into. So that's a totally different thing. I'm not going to talk on because I don't know anything about it and I'm not initiated in anything because that is not my cup of tea. So I'm maybe one day if I get invited, but that's nothing that I can talk on. So I can't really say per se on that. But yeah, we have all different. We have there's in South America, there is several deities that remind me of some Egyptian gods. Um, I did not write them down, but I was like, wow. Even the descriptions of like how they come to people or how they may look, is very similar. Like there's one that is very similar to Isis that I found that was in the Mayan like background, the culture. So it's fun to look those kind of things up. I've had several different deities come to me to help whoever I'm trying to help. So that is one thing that I kind of offer. So like my readings, besides my mediumship, I also get deities that come in, not all the time, just when they're like, "Hey, tell them," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Um, that they will come in for that person, and I will tell them like, "Hey, I need you to do some homework. You gotta learn more about your deity that wants to work with you." Because thing is, we ask for things all the time. The universe hears us, so then certain deities are gonna come to try and help you on your path. Sometimes they're with you for your the whole rest of your life, and sometimes they're only there for a season. So know that. Hello, that's fine. No, you're fine. I'm the chat thing like pops up and then disappears. Pops up, disappears. I'm like, what is this? So hang on, let me. All right, hold on. All right. So Tracy had a great question. How do you ask for signs from your deities? Now, this is kind of the same thing with asking for signs from spirit in general. So, when I ask for a sign that something's gonna like be good, I'm very specific on it. So, I've done where I have said I want to hear a certain song or I want to hear a certain word said. Now I know that's dumb, but sometimes those words stick out, like that audio will stick out. Sure. Um, and how to oh my gosh, what I just got thrown off, sorry. um, like certain words that just stand out, just certain signs, you'll know those signs will stand out to you like no other. So just ask for specific signs from your deity. Like, hey, are you here? I feel like you're gonna start to know when Green Man shows up a little bit more when you're outside. Just because he's nature esque. He's very nature esque. So if you go outside some more, I feel like you're gonna connect with him. So like wind, you might hear like the leaves rustling, or anything of that nature. You're gonna hear him. So all right, let me go. I'm sorry, I'm gonna scroll back up because I also saw. So again, when it comes to wanting to work with certain deities, I always suggest reading up on them. Reading up on them. What is it that they like? What are they connected with? Um, do your research because just because it's you have that feeling doesn't always mean they want to work with you at that moment. But if you start getting signs like of things like of the Morgan coming, um, I haven't come across the Morgan at all yet. Morgan hasn't come to me um, for anybody, so I can't say on that. But I do know that she's pretty badass. So, like I said, do research. Like go look and find books. There's books on her. There's definitely things you can find online. But yeah, do your research because you're studying them just like they're studying you. But that's what I will always say when it comes to deities. Three-headed dogs and keys. Okay. Well, okay. So Hades has the three-headed dog, which is Cerberus. So, and then Keys is normally Hecate. So Hecate is part of the underworld. She's the one that led Persephone out of the underworld when Hades captured her. So, but she has the keys to the underworld. She's the one that had the torch, led her out. She's also one that's connected with dogs, hounds especially. So are you feeling it being more of a masculine energy or a feminine energy? All right. I believe I saw somebody ask me about Bastet. Bastet being the cat Egyptian um hang on, goddess. So Bastet has that very motherly energy, very very motherly energy. So going to protect you. Kind of, I Bastet kind of reminds me a lot of Freya from the Norse pagan. Just that very like warrior-esque, like will come after you if you mess with the kids or you mess with any other women, like very protective of their families. Um, Again, they both have cats. Freya also has cats, and then people may see best at with the cat head and the womanly figure bodied. And we also know in Egypt times that cats were very, very well known for helping us connect with the other side. So um, I would also do research on if that is who is calling to you, if it's Bastet or if it might be Freya, because that's why I said like some of these deities have very similar things. So, but they're different. So tell you like gotta be a little bit more specific. Like, hey, are you Bastet? Or are you Freya? Like they're gonna come and take charge of that. Pull back up this. Sorry. So Hecate can give off some masculine, but you got to remember Hecate is maiden, mother, and crone. She gives off very motherly, feminine energy. So when you said three-headed dog, I immediately went to Hades and the underworld and Dog Cerberus. That was who I went to. And Hades, we know, has that very strong masculine energy. Hades also, Pluto. So Pluto, if you know anything about astrology and the planets and just in general, we know that Pluto is, the dark mystery planet. Okay, same with Hades being in the underworld is just dark and mysterious. Um, he really dives deep into the craft in the sense. Scorpios are really strongly connected to Pluto and Hades because we go into the depths of things. And why I say we because I'm a Scorpio. Uh, so a lot of the times we're the ones that like will go through the deep trenches and dig things up and find out things that are, things that people can't always find. We're those people. We're those deep dark detectives, and we will find shit out, and we will rectify it in our own way. So that's kind of the same way with Hades. So that's why I'm like, is it masculine or a feminine energy that was coming through? Um, but also we know like we want that balance. So like that's why I have Ganesha and I have Hecate. Ganesha is like that masculine energy because it's God, and then I have Hecate as the feminine. So I have that balance that I need. Um, I've also had um, Lilith come through at one point. I only had her for a little bit, where I needed to heal and rectify some things that happened in my past. She helped me through that. So they, like I said, they're not always there the whole time. Sometimes they're only there for a season, and that's okay because you asked for help. So if you ask for help and you're noticing things, like take it as a sign and work with them. Now, do you guys know like what type of offerings you should be giving your deities? I'm just gonna wait and see if I see a response from anybody. Sorry. This chat thing can be a little weird on here because on TikTok it stays. On here it like pops up when somebody does something and then disappears in like a few seconds. And I'm like, I didn't finish reading that. Also, feel free to ask any other questions if you don't want to talk about deities. If you just want to ask questions, this is Witchy chat. We can talk anything witchy. Well, I picked YouTube because it's universal for everybody to get on. Not everybody has TikTok, not everybody has Instagram, so YouTube's easy. I mean, it's the second most popular. Um, why did I just blank on whatever? It goes Google first, and Google owns YouTube, and then YouTube. So honey cakes, wine, and incense is not for all deities, but I would suggest, so like Gaia, we were just, I think somebody said Gaia. Yep, Gaia. Gaia would like honey because that's from the Gaia's the mother, uh, planet, earthly mother. So that, but I also would probably do. Um, I know this is weird, and it's like mead, like a mead, or also like a moonshine. I know that's weird, but those are like things that are a little bit more. Um, so that's a good question, Tracy. Really, you're getting some good questions. I love that you're asking these questions. Thank you. Okay, so I usually change out my offerings once a week. So currently, right now, I have whiskey and I have jelly beans for my deities. And then I also have flowers because my ancestors. I always get a bouquet of flowers for my ancestors, and then I also put a glass of water, just a regular glass of water on my altar. That is supposed to help with any negative attacks that are trying to come to me or any of my stuff that I'm working with on my altar. Um, but yeah, usually once a week I am changing out the, whatever is the drink of choice, because that changes a lot for me, whatever I can afford, and they know that. And then same with like, I change up the different offerings. So sometimes, like this time, it's jelly beans, just because it's Easter time, and I don't know. That's just a fun. I feel a fun way to give them some stuff. I've given them like chocolate's a huge one. They love freaking chocolate. Like almost every single deity I know love chocolate because that was a rarity. And yeah, that's definitely one of their favorites. And that's the same with the Fae. So if anybody likes to work with, fairies, which could be another topic we talk about because me and my fairies. That's awesome. You know what? I've done trail mix before. So the trail mix has like, the raisins, different nuts and stuff. I've done that before. Yeah, so me and the new man don't drink, and he had leftover bottles of alcohol because I'm staying with him. And I'm like, leave them, don't pitch them. I will give those to the Dieties. So right now they are having whiskey that I'm using the bottle of whiskey that is left. And then when I go through all of those, that's when I'll probably buy wine again because Hecate really likes wine. So I tend to stick to and she likes the dark wine. She likes like a dark red. Oh, and she wanted to know how you dispose of it. Like I honestly dispose of it like I would dispose of regular food. It goes in the garbage and the alcohol goes down the drain. It's not like anything super crazy. Um Now if I can dump it outside, I will, but 9 times out of 10 I'm usually in the house doing it quickly. So down the drain it goes, in the garbage it goes. Yeah, see like okay, Amy's given rum because rum is like very popular in hoodoo and voodoo practices. Like rum, sugar, like the sugar cane, all of that stuff is very popular, like for those deities. Think of like the Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Romans, right? A lot of them would drink like meads or wines, right? So they usually tend to like more of that type of stuff. And that like with the Norse and like Celtic type gods, you're also going to have your mead and some of them even like ale. So if you have like a darker ale, like a Guinness or whatever, putting in an ale as well is like kind of their cup of tea. Um, Over in like India and China, you're gonna have a little bit different, or not even China, like whatever area, China, Japan, you're gonna have your different alcohols as well for those deities. I still India kind of like on the borderline with like wine as well. I feel like wine's kind of like a across the board kind of thing. If you had to, if you couldn't afford some of the liquors, it's across the board. Thank you. Just say Asia. Yes. Oh my goodness. I swear. Sometimes I'm just like countries, blah 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 blah. Um what else? Oh, voodoo and hoodoo also are very big in tobacco and same with Native American um deities or spirits or totems, whatever you want to call them in that realm. Um, Tobacco is a huge thing. Leave them like tobacco leaves or to actually blow smoke. I know Mela does can't like she smokes her weed and tobacco for her deities. Um, but also leaving like some of that for them is a big thing. There's if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, we used to have like a tobacco water in our like when I worked at the shop. So it would always sell out. Like whenever we got in, it was gone within like 3 days. Uh, we tried to get like big stocks of it, but it was always hard to like whatever we got, and then like we had to order it again within a month. Like we always said, like come get it now because it was just popular. Which we understand because we have a lot of different cultures in Northeast Ohio, so they're you know um, helping with their ancestors and stuff. What else am I trying to think? Whiskey's also a huge one. Whiskey, I think I was saying whiskey up also. like the Celtic, pagan, Norse area. See, I don't do fruits and veggies very often. I should, but I don't. A lot of the time I'm doing sweets. But I should start. Like I probably should do like grapes or something this year. I'll probably will. I'm just like, I want the fruit. um, yeah, I would save like that kind of stuff for a bigger like offering. I don't know, during like one of the Sabbaths. I would do that's a little bit of my thing too. Crystal is the like ants or other bugs and stuff. I'm good. So like the jelly beans and stuff that I have out, there's no little guys. Yes, that's true. Mela does have that. I don't. I don't have a garden. I don't. I'm not. I used to be back in the day, but that ship has sailed. I used to work at a greenery. That was one of my jobs, first jobs. Worked at a greenery. Also worked in the floral shop, so it was like part greenery or yeah, greenhouse, and then part floral shop. So I'd be in the floral shop helping. No, it doesn't matter. Mm-mm. I prefer them dry myself versus fresh because a lot of the times I'm burning those herbs or I am mixing them into a powder substance in a sense. So I prefer them dry, but there's people that like technically flowers, right? They're on my altar right now. They're they're fresh cut. I literally just got them 2 days ago. It's a fresh cut um floral arrangement. So that I believe on my altar all the time. But as for stuff that I'm working with, like in my spell work, it's a lot of times I like to use the dry because I like to actually burn it or roll it. Like I'll also roll my candles in the herbs, so it's a little bit easier to have that versatility in my opinion. But that everybody's different, and we always know everything's about intent. So the intention behind the spell work is what really matters most. Yep, that's true, Crystal. Sometimes they're easier to find dried than they are to find them fresh. But there's also people that have gardens, so um, it's really up to you. But like I said, me personally, I'd rather use dried because I'm more than likely burning the herbs. That's just me. The mice are always they make me laugh. Hi, thank you for jumping on. Sarai, do you want to talk about anything? Do you want to bring up any of your deities that you work with? I'm sure you were. I know she's trying to make a new oil. She's using the hyacinth. I have my phone that I'm looking at versus the tablet and see what you guys say. I think since I like to burn stuff, I'm like I have the pyro in me. I'm like, ooh, fire, fire. So burn. I always want to burn stuff. But I also like to utilize candle magic a lot. as you guys probably already, if you haven't already noticed, in a lot of the rituals that we do, I'm usually the one carving into candles and, anointing them in oils and powders and herbs and focusing that energy on those candles for you guys. So that's a huge thing that I'd like to do. I literally was burning herbs before we we got on the chat. I was like, I need the ambiance, the get ready for witchy chat time. I had excuse me. Oh my god. By the way, this is my goofy ass self in case you all don't know. Um I had dragon's blood going because you know me, I love dragon's blood. You would think that I would be a fire sign with my pyro, and I'm a water sign. Now my rising sign is a fire sign. But I actually don't have a lot of fire in my chart. Air and fire are kind of lacking in that sense. I have a lot of water. Oh yeah, because the tinctures, depending on who makes the tinctures, if there's alcohol in them. But here's the thing, I like to do. So if I like to keep a flame in my cauldron, I will use the Florida water, the Murray and Lemons, whatever Murray and I don't remember the names. I'm old OG Florida water. I'm gonna say that. Usually has alcohol in it, and I pour it into the bottom of the cauldron. And I just light that sucker, and I have flames for a little bit, and then I toss stuff into the cauldron, just so I have that ambiance of the fire going. But yeah, I'll use that, and then I also that's also like how I get started with utilizing some of my tools. Like I'll run it through the flame, and get things going. And it just gives a little bit extra energy, I feel, because you're smelling the Florida water. The fire is kind of intense for the few moments that it's going. But yeah, that's something I like. Were you burning dragon's blood too? I swear, the other day he looked at the candle that I had going because we did a candle for a road opener spell, and this flame, no joke, was like 3 inches tall. All right, and it was 3 inches tall for the whole way down, and that sucker burned within, I want to say, 8 hours. He was like, "You gotta watch it." I'm like, "It's steady. It's not doing anything crazy. It will be fine," and it was fine. So he's he gotta stop it. He needs to know. I love that Medusa is working with you, and I love Medusa. Medusa, in case you guys didn't know, Medusa is a deity, even though like people um, talk about her in a different aspect. But yeah, oh okay, yeah, I have not had any mishaps. I'm pretty good about making sure I contain fires when I need to. Um, I also try to do that stuff outside if I know I'm going to go a little too crazy with stuff. Because it's easier for me to control that shit outside than it is in the house. Oh, look at that. Hell yeah. So you got she has a Hecate candle. You're going to be doing a Medusa and a Lilith. Nice. So it's funny that you were mentioning like deity, like oils, or doing a line of stuff like that. Because I was thinking the same thing, but the only issue is with powders. I was like, technically, a obstacle remover powder would be like a Ganesh powder because Ganesh is the obstacle remover god, right? So that's where I'm like, well, technically, like, it'd be deity powders. But I know, like, some people have, like, specific, like, you can give this to Hecate or Ganesh or Lilith or the Morgan, whoever, and that's for them. So you, I don't know, put, like, a lava stone and you put a couple of drops for that deity. So, I did. This is actually made of wood that I have. This is like a cool little um table that is got um a thing for tablet or a phone. There's a couple little USB ports. So like I can have it at the side of a couch in my living room, so I don't always have to be in my office. Because once I finally move into the trailer, I don't always want to be stuck in my office. Like I want to be, like I want to be comfortable. So, what's your question about her origin story? I know there's a couple different versions out there, but the main one that I've always been told was that she was this beautiful being and one of the goddesses was jealous of her getting attention, so that's when she decided to make her the Gorgon that she is. A dude mold. Okay. Show me too, Mela later. I might be able to know who it might be. See, I think it was because of jealousy. Like if we remember, a lot of the Greek gods and goddesses had done stuff out of pettiness, out of jealousies, out of just um, lots of things. So Zeus, Playboy, Mister Zeus, um, messing with all different beings, creatures, things. Um, and then Hera was pissed that he, did stuff with certain people. And then certain gods and goddesses would get pissed at certain, people because they were, getting fame, or people were paying more attention to them than they were the actual gods or goddesses. So if anything, I do feel that it was on the origin story of jealousy, because that makes the most sense to me of turning somebody that was extremely beautiful into something that no man or woman, no person could look upon, because it was turned into stone. So that's just how I feel strongly about that, and that's the main reason why. Yeah, they are. They are. They had a lot of pettiness, and that's got the like this all the different like jealousies and issues, and we know, of course, all of the sexual abuse and just abuse in general. Like it's a lot of effed up shit if we really think about it and we really look at the history of that. Like, uh, sometimes I wonder why sometimes we, as people, actually like some of them, not all of them, but some of it, like that we paid homage to them. But I also know it was for different things, for like good crops, prosperity, abundance, love, things of that nature. But at the same time, It's like, you did XYZ thing. Why should I give this to you? So, but yeah, I hope you guys got some questions and things answered that I was able to discuss today. And it's coming up on an hour. So I want to try and keep these an hour each. This is true. This is very, very true, Crystal. We as a society know that those things are wrong. Also, Medusa is very like a protector of that kind of stuff. Um, so like any type of abuse, she will protect women. Very much well known. And she wasn't the only Gorgon. If you actually look up some of the stuff, there's more Gorgons. So it's kind of a there's some other stuff I feel like has been hidden in history, as we know, because things have either been destroyed or it's just never been passed down like it should have. And there's some people that know some of the story, and we have a bunch of that stuff going on in all the different cultures. So kind of take what resonates with you and go with it. But there's some cool stuff if you do some digging on some of these deities and their backstories. True, true, true. Um, but she was accepted at least to the rest of the crew. So I guess I don't know, but I do like to utilize her when I've utilized her a couple of times for things. 'Cause she's pretty badass, like I said. Um, where was I going? Oh, okay. So we're coming up on an hour, and like I said, I want to try and keep these roughly an hour long, and have a topic for each Wednesday. Yep, I agree, Sarai. So next week, I don't know what we want to talk about yet, but feel free to either comment now in here or shoot me a message, or I might post a post in the group. Um, but yeah, this Witchy Wednesday chat is for you guys. So whatever you guys want to discuss and talk about, it's for you. I have a wealth of knowledge on almost a lot of things. If not, we're gonna learn together, because that's also a thing too. I like to. I'm always willing to learn. This if you're not willing to learn when you're working in spell work or the craft itself, you might want to stop because you're always learning and growing in here. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you, and I would love for you to just interact with me more too. Just ask me questions. Like I love answering stuff. I love the like the interaction and stuff more. I want you guys to feel like you got something out of this. Um, that's the whole purpose of this is to get information that you normally don't get to ask in maybe the group, or feel like it's not a topic that we really talk about in FAFO, which is okay, because like I said, knowing a little bit of everything. Like I want you guys to have the information. I want you to be able to help you on your guys' journeys. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, anytime. Okay, I'm just rereading some of you guys. Yep, feel free. That's what I am. I'm a wealth of knowledge. When you work in a metaphysical shop for several years and you have like 2,500 square foot location and over several thousand items in the shop, from books to tarot to crystals to other divination to deities to candles to herbs, um, you gotta learn. You gotta learn, you gotta understand things and be able to help people understand things. And sometimes if I didn't know something, I would either find one of the other people that knew something about it, or me and the client or customer would go on an adventure and learn more about it. So that's how it is. That's how this world is, but that's what I want to do. Yeah, no problem. Let me know. Um, well, divination can cover a lot of things. Divination literally can cover so much. I can talk about crystal balls. I can talk about I Ching. We can talk about astrology, numerology, human design. We can talk about tarot, Thoth, Lenormand, oracle cards, runes, pendulums. The list goes on and on when it comes to divination. There are so many forms of divination. It's insane. There's even a lady that throws down asparagus. Like she tosses asparagus and she reads. Just saying. I Yes, head reading is a thing. So is facial mapping. Facial mapping, along with palms, of course, palmistry. I didn't even mention palmistry, but palmistry, facial mapping, head mapping, foot as well. That's kind of incorporates a little bit of reflexology. But yeah, that is totally a thing. There's a lot of things that, like I said, they connect depending on everybody has their like thing that they're really good at and understand what type of divination that you're attracted to and what is going to connect with you is going to help you be a better version of yourself. So it is like the lumps, but it's also like the shape of your head. Like some people's orbital bones are higher than others, like maybe where the ears are, the occipital and the orbital bones in the there's a lot. Um, Only reason I know that stuff, Crystal, is 'cause, I went to beauty school, so we had to learn about the anatomy of the head to know how to do haircuts and stuff. So um, yeah, it's actually very, very popular over in Asia. A lot of a lot of like there's areas where they'll do different things. They'll do like the facial mapping, the head mapping, like I said, reflexology and stuff, and they'll do all of that. It's not as popular over here, but something. Yeah. there's a lot of things that, like I said, are unique in divination. I've learned a lot in over what 10 years. No, it's legit a thing. So I mean, some things in movies are true, and we know some things in movies are not true because we know Hollywood likes to embellish, like Ouija boards, which don't get me started on that because I will go down a freaking tangent with Ouija boards. So that's why I'm like saying if we do divination, I'm gonna be on here for like 2 hours talking. Because I do know a good chunk of things on divination. Um, just because I like to know, like I get inspired by things and I'm like, oh, I want to try that. I want to see if that connects. Because I mean, there's a lot of us that are tarot readers, oracle card readers. I read crystal cards too. But I also am very like enchanted by bone casting. So that's like something that I've always been interested in doing myself. All right. Yeah, tea. So fun thing about tea readings. Um Tea readings and coffee readings because you can actually read coffee grounds too. And that's usually with like the Turkish coffee. because the Turkish coffee is made with the grounds, and you leave the grounds in the. So I found out a couple within the past couple of years, both my maternal great grandmother and my paternal great grandmother both read coffee grounds. Now you would think tea leaves because of the gypsy side, but no, they read the coffee grounds. I was like, dang, that's cool. So yeah, I found that out in my family. Like nobody wants to tell me this now because they want to keep it hush hush, but that's how families like to roll. Um, they like to hide that stuff. You don't talk about that stuff, especially if you're going to church. So palm readers, I don't think any of us do palm readings. I think there's one person and Gigi knows them. So palm readings is a lot of like so our fingers and our palms or hands, our lines change. Like all the different lines that you see on your hands, they change. Believe it or not. You can I bet you if you took a photo of like your right hand or left hand or both, and then you looked at it like a couple months later, like say 6 months later, you'll notice that like some of the lines are shorter or they've moved or it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's almost like thinking of like a tree and how a tree grows, right? So when the tree grows and how things move, like it's the same as us. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off here and then I'm going to post in group, see what you guys think for next week. Thank you for joining me. Love you guys. See you next time.